Hello, you're welcome to this very important discussion. Anytime we are dealing on primary data collection, especially when it has to do with sampling, the sampling method is a key thing you need to understand. And in the next few minutes, I'll show you what it's all about and how to make sure you're able to generate random number for selecting your sample in an unbiased way. Now, let's start with what makes it necessary. Okay, one key thing is that when you are doing primary data, one key thing you need to define is your population. Population here is the entire group that you want to draw conclusion about. All right, if you look at the image here, this is the population. Okay, but because of limitations of resources and time, we may not be able to study the whole population. All right, otherwise you'll be taking census. So often in statistics, what we do is estimation of this population. You take a sample, select a group from the population, and study that group. With that group that is your sample, you'll be able to make conclusion about the population. And that is why a sample is the specific group that you will collect your data from. All right, so you collect your data from here and make conclusion. So that is why it is estimation. You are estimating the behavior, the attribute of this population by selecting some numbers from there so that you can now make generalization. So the size of the sample is always smaller than the population. Otherwise, if it is not smaller than the population, you may as well study the whole population. Okay, so that is sampling. And to draw this sample, there are methods of drawing sample in research. And basically, we want to look at maybe 5 of them. One is what we call random sampling. Random sampling basically gives all the elements. You see the individuals here, we call them elements. They may be human being, they may be particular thing you are studying. Maybe somebody is doing a study on rats, and then you have taken treatment. You take sample from the treatment and from the control. All right, so random sampling is a technique that gives every element in the population chances of being selected. All right, so it tries to remove bias in your selection. You select it randomly. Okay, basically it helps to ensure that there is no bias in the sampling. All right, that is one. The second one is stratified sampling. Stratified sampling has to do with what we call a heterogeneous group, a group that is not homogeneous. Homogeneous is a group that has the same character, the same characteristics, the same features. All right, so a group that is heterogeneous, you divide it into homogeneous groups. Let's keep it simple. You are studying workers in a particular institution, and you decide to separate it between male and female. So male becomes a homogeneous group, female becomes another homogeneous group. All right, you may decide to separate it based on cadre, senior staff and junior staff. So they become two different groups. So at the end of the day, when you have put it, so each of the group you form becomes strata. So you, like here we have strata 1 in white color, and then strata 2, strata 3. And then you decide that you're going to select a sample from each of the strata to make your sample. Okay? So you draw sample from each of the strata to make up the sample you will study. So that at the end of the day, you'll be able to make conclusion about this population that has 3 stratas. All right? So that is it. So if you are doing this, you basically classify this group into strata or into homogeneous groups, and then you now draw your sample using a random method, a method that does not cause bias. All right, now that's number 2. Number 3, we will look at bias sampling. Bias sampling, like the name implies, has to do with the fact that this researcher is biased towards a particular group in the population. For instance, you look at this group, here, and then you draw your sample. Now, this looks like unbiased because you threw your sampling techniques at the middle. Anybody who falls there, some people from the lower, some people from the upper, and some people from the middle are selected. Now, but if you look at this one, it looks biased. Maybe this particular group are people who, for instance, if you want to look at this as income levels, so those at the top are high income level, the middle are middle income level, and the people down are the low income level. This could give you a fair idea of what it looks like. But unlike here, if you do it, you have selected only the low income level group, and you have excluded totally a particular group. So that becomes like biased. All right, maybe somebody just want to show that this population is poor, is not a population that has income, high income, not having any high income. All right, so that is bias sampling. The other one is the issue of convenient sampling. All right, the researcher decide to select people based on pleasure, on people that are quite convenient for the researcher to select. Okay, so like in this population, this is a population, and then the researcher may want to say, okay, instead of getting to draw random sample here, let all that are wearing are in red color move. Then all that are in red color decide to move this way. These people may just be like the intelligent group. Maybe it's a class here, and it's mixed up people who are doing well and people who are not doing well. And for convenience sake, the researcher feels that those who are intelligent can easily feel or respond to the questionnaire. Say, okay, all of you can move this way. Or you come to a village, you want to collect data in that village, and you decide to say, okay, all the educated people come out, I will study you. And then you are using it to draw conclusion about the population. It's convenient for you because they can easily understand your language. I have gone to do study somewhere, where we had to, you meet young people in their 30s, 40s, and they can't understand English or pidgin English. You have to look for interpreter because we needed to get their own response. Otherwise, one would have been tempted to select only those who can understand English, and that will automatically bias your sample. All right, so it's convenient for you, and it can cause bias too. All right. Now, but the person may not be doing it because he's biased against anybody. He's just doing it because it's convenient for him to do so. Another one that looks like that one is the one that is called so basically, another one that looks like it is the one that is called purposive sampling. Basically, this is done because it helps the researcher achieve a purpose. Okay, you decide to study ladies in a particular town, and instead of drawing your sample in a way that if you want to draw your sample in a way, because you are looking at people who are street girls, okay, you decide to come out in maybe in the night, in the evening, and go to a particular junction where you can meet them, because they are the people you want to study. You want to find out why some young ladies are involved in street jobs in the night. They work like harlots. Okay, so you because it serves your purpose, you may get to where they meet. Or you want to study young men, why they get involved in drug trafficking. You can't just draw sample anyhow. You need to locate where you will get people who are involved in that. You narrow down your sampling for the purpose you want to achieve. Okay, so it helps you to address the purpose you want to achieve. There are a few other methods that are not covered here, but these are the key ones. There's the one we call snowball. Snowball is a situation where, for instance, I'm studying people who are into drugs, and then it may be difficult for you to find them anywhere. So you get one person who is into drugs and say, oh boy, what are you doing? And then you interview the person and say, please, can you recommend me to another person who is into this business? Because if he comes from a member of that group, they a bit feel secure to attend to my questionnaire than you coming from nowhere and try to crack into what they are doing. Okay, so that is snowball method and all of that. So there are a few other ones we didn't mention here. Now, but another key thing I need you to note is that anytime you want to draw your sample, there's something called sampling frame. In sampling frame, this is the list of all the people from where you want to draw your population. Okay, for instance, this draw your sample. For instance, this is the population, the bigger circle here. The population could mean farmers. So I am studying farmers. All right, but even in this studying of farmers, I am studying farmers in a particular local government, in a particular village. Okay, but then I come to that village. I decided to do what I did it in a study we did on processors of maize-based products. People who process maize-based products in about 5 states, and we did 2 local government in each of the 5 states. Of course, that is part of why this issue of sampling could be multiple methods, mixed methods. To do that, we had to locate states. Looking at production of maize in Nigeria, we identify states, the 5 top states that are involved in producing maize. And then we looked at each of these states to locate the top that's purposive, because it serves our purpose. We looked at the local governments that are top in producing maize. It serves a purpose, so purposive. All right. Then we got to that village. The local government. We looked at the production at the village level. In the local government, we identified the villages that are involved. So we got to the 2 villages in each of the local governments. When we got there, so we had to invite the village head and then an anchor person, among the processors. So they were able to give us a list of all the people who are into processing base maize products. We got that list, so we call it listing. Okay, that's part of why a real research in sampling can be difficult. So we listed them. From that listing, I had to travel to 5 states in Nigeria to do that listing. Incidentally, it was a sponsored research. But you need to do these details because you want to draw your conclusion. That paper is published somewhere. So we went to different states, 5 of them. We got that list and returned back to our base. When we got to our base, that was when we had to draw sample from the listing we got. Okay, so that list you are collecting forms what it called your sampling frame. Is a list of items or people from the population from which you want to take your sample. Okay, so that is basically what we did. So when you have collected that list, your sampling frame, and that, if you are doing research using primary data, sometimes the question could pop up: what is your sampling frame? My sampling frame may be households. In that case, I am not studying individuals. I am studying households. Okay? Your sampling frame may be students. So you study students in a particular department. You'll be specific. Okay? If, for instance, you are studying something around the university and you want to study first year students, so your population becomes first year students. Okay? And then from that first year students, you get their lists. You get the list of those who are willing to participate. And then you draw your sample. Now, how do you draw this sample so that you are not introducing bias? That is where we are treating the issue of how to create random numbers in Excel. So if I have that list, I'll show you Excel now, how to do it. Is simple. This grammar sometimes could confuse people, but I like to do it practical so that you will understand and be able to repeat what I'm doing. The essence is to build skill. Now, this random number can be generated using the following steps. First, you click on the cell where you want to generate the random number. You enter the formula. I'll show you how to enter this formula. And then you specify the formula is round between. Okay, I have number 1 to 60 households, and I want to select 10 out of the, you know, 60 households. I want to select 10 households as my sample, the people I will interview. How to get to know the sample size, we'll treat it later. All right, then 1 becomes my list, my lower limit, and then 60 becomes my upper limit. Okay, so that is basically how to do it. Now let me change this to, so that we'll follow, because that data we're going to use has about 60 households. So my sampling frame, sampling unit is households. Okay, beautiful. So that's basically the thing. So the next I will do is to click enter on the key. It will get me the random number. Let me put that Excel file up. This is our Excel file. Some of you who have followed us, we use this Excel in SPSS. We used it in our discussion on SPSS. If you did not check that, how to code your data in SPSS and how to do basic analysis like descriptive and frequency, check that video and subscribe to this video so that you always get our updates automatically once it's uploaded. All right, so this is the household, this is the serial number. All right, there are a few skills I need you to learn from here. It runs from 1 to 60. Okay, instead of using my arrow key up and down, if I want to get to the end, if you hold your shift in your keyboard and hold control, you just press arrow down. It gets you to where the data stops. If the data is up to 3,000, 4,000, once you press that thing, it will quickly get you to where the data stops. Okay, beautiful. So that is one skill I need you to to understand or to learn. If I want to select the local government, for instance, I hold shift control key, I press arrow down, it gets me to where this data ends. Okay, the data ends somewhere here. All right, if I hold it, it pushes it quickly. If I hold the other side, it gets me, covers it. Okay, so another thing I need you to learn quickly before I show you how to do that random number is how to do sorting. You see these keys here, they are very, very important. I want to be able to sort this thing in a way that will give me exactly what I want to look at. For instance, if I highlight this, all of them, I'm holding my shift key, and then I click on the last one, it has highlighted all of them. You see this sort here, sort and filter. I'll click the arrow down there and say customize. I click on it, it puts arrow here. Let me redo it. You see what I did? Control Z takes me back. Now I click arrow down and click this filter. It will put arrows here. That arrow can help me do sorting. All right, so to filter it now, I click on it, it puts the arrow there now. Okay, so if for instance I want to, this is age of household head, I want to see the people who are oldest, the oldest person in this sample, in this population here. If I click on this arrow, I say sort according to highest to smallest, it gives it to me, and it's going to carry all the information on each row together. You see number 1 here where it appears. Number 35 is now here. The first becomes 60. Number 6. So if I want to take my serial number, sort according to my serial number again, I'll just click here and say sort small to highest. It gives me the original arrangement I have. All right, so this is beautiful. If, for instance, I'm a lecturer and I finished teaching my students and I want to be able to put their grades, maybe put letters to their grade, and I'm not using formula in Excel to do it, all I need to do is to quickly click on the total score and say sort highest, largest to smallest. It gives me that range. I know that in our arrangement in scoring, the people from here to that have 60 is B in our grading. I don't know what it is in your country anyway, or your university. All right, so in that way, it helps me to sort. See, this is level of education. If I want to know the person who is most educated, the highest number of years spent in school in the population, I'll click this arrow and say largest to smallest. It carries everything together. If you are not sure, let me color this too. Let me color it, and then we sort according to serial number, small to highest. It takes all the rules together. I hope that convinces you that is not scattering your data set. As long as you're able to put this code on all of them, this arrow that is filter arrow on all of them. Okay, so back to the main business so that we can kick off, summarize from there. Now, we have 60 households here. And these 60 households want to select randomly 15 of them. Don't ask me why I chose 15. It's just my head. That's what came to my mind. Now, I could select any other number, but 15. Okay, actually, I used 15 to divide them 60, and that will give you what? You're right. You're 4, right? Beautiful. Because 15 plus 15 is 13. 15 plus 15 is 30. 30 plus 30 is what? 60. Brilliant. You're very intelligent. That's why I like you. All right. So, so 15 of them. So how do I select that here? What I'll quickly do is to put my cursor here. If I type this and type that formula, random, it shows me rand and shows me rand between. I want to select between 1 and 60. 1 and 60. I'll double click on it. It opens the bracket for me. I will type 1 space 60. Okay. Okay. Oh, beautiful. All right. So then I cover that space. If I click enter, what is it? It's showing me a function. Oh, instead of using comma, there's a dot there. Beautiful. I'm happy you are seeing that error. You see the way the system tried. So if you don't get it right and the system wants to show you mercy to do the same sound, and then you'll be sure what you are doing is not right. So once you have done it, you click enter key and it gives me a random number. It's selected. That number first person to be selected here is 47. Wow, 47. That's okay. Is that what I want to run with? Okay, but I am interested in selecting the first 15. Okay, so what I will do now is to drag. You see, I click this number. If I do what I want to do, it can change, and then there may be a repetition, and you want to replace it. If I click on this, the result is showing me the formula here. I'll quickly bring my cursor to this point. See, the cursor is like bigger cross. If I bring it closer, it shows me slim cross. If I keep it any other place, that slim cross will go. If I put it here, you can drag, but I'm not dragging. So I need that slim cross when I bring it to this edge where that thing seems to be a tight knot. And then I will hold my shift, I click and hold my cursor. Okay, I'll click and hold down and drag. I'm rolling down the cursor till I've selected 15. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I keep it there. So this is the number selected randomly. All right. Is there repetition? I actually expect repetition. Maybe there is none. That's miracle. So this is the number selected. If I don't copy and save this number as values, any other thing I do here will give me different set of random numbers. So if I don't want to lose this number, I'll do copy. All right, I've copied it. I will put my cursor here. Let me put it somewhere else. Then I'll come to paste and say paste as values, no longer as formula. So paste as values. If I click on paste as values, it gives me that value. And as it's giving it to me, this thing has automatically changed to a new set of values because it's still operating as random number in formula. But this one is no longer random number in formula. It's the value. So this is the value I need. All right. So to select those who will participate in my sample, I will look for number 1. Number 2 has been selected. Number 2, towards the next one, you see I'm beginning to look for which one is which again here. Okay, but instead of looking for it that way, I can come here and ask this system to sort it for me big to small, A to Z, it has given me a sorting here. I didn't use filter so that it doesn't interfere with what I have here. Let me redo it so you see what I did. I clicked on top here. See this arrow down? I clicked, it highlighted it, and then I come to that place. Instead of using filter, filter is highlighted. It deals with this set of numbers. I'll just click the other one that is there. That other one is what is sort, and I want to sort it A to Z, small to highest. I click on it, it gives me that value. Beautiful. So it becomes easier for me to know the one selected randomly. Number 2 is going to participate in our study. Number 3 is going to participate, and then it jumps to number 6, going to participate. It jumps to number 7, going to participate. From 7 to 14, 14 is the next randomly selected, and then 16 is the next, in that order until you've selected all of them. Okay? So this is my randomly selected sample. I can use it. So in my research, when I've done this, after getting the sample frame and select randomly, I can comfortably report in my research that during the sampling, to ensure that there is no bias, I use Microsoft Excel to select randomly from the sample frame. Okay? Now, let me click on this now. It will give me a new set. It keeps changing until you have copied and you have saved. Permit me next few minutes to repeat what I did again. All right. But this time around, I'll use the formula here. Instead of coming to type equal to, some of you, once you see equal sign, you become afraid because you have this bias against mathematics. Please chill. You do it a lot on everyday life. Okay, so what I do is to come here, see this arrow, see this summation. I click the arrow here. If I click that arrow, it's going to show me other options, and I say more functions. I'll click on this more functions. Because I've used that formula before, it's showing here. But in your own, if it's not showing, what you need to do, because it's showing most recently used, that's why it's there, because I've used it. If it's not showing, you click on this arrow, select a category, you click on it, select math track. Okay, if you click on it, then you can scroll down. If you don't want to scroll down, just click on inside there and type R. R will take you to the range of R, that's R formulas. If I now see it, I click on it and click OK. It gives me the formula. So I will put 1 as my bottom, the lowest, and the highest is 60. Okay, and then I click. Okay. Yeah, top, bottom. Are you sure? Beautiful. So it has given me a random number. And then I still drag like before. 1, 2, 3. Is that 3? This 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I've got random numbers. Okay? And to make sure I don't lose this randomness, do you see 55 is here, 55 is here? Okay? So if I want to make sure I don't get trapped with that arrangement, I may drag a little 1 again. Alright? Or alternatively, if I don't drag, I'll just allow the system to redo this by clicking enter. Okay? It will give me another one. So this one seems to have appeared without replacement or anyone reoccurring 2 times. So I'll quickly copy. Control C is your copy. You put your cursor somewhere, and then you click on paste. Then you are going to paste using paste special. If you click the arrow down, paste special will drop it there. So it becomes static values, figures. Okay? And I want to sort it. If I had repetition, I could step it down by 1 to get like 16 instead of 5. Or I could even step it down to get extra 2, 17. And then anywhere there is repetition, I'll remove 1 until the list will go, the last value will go. But others will fit in. Okay, so I can now sort this stuff. If I want to sort it, to see the largest to the smallest, I say sort A to Z. And then it gives me, I'm sorting Z to A. sort small to largest. 7, 12. So this is a new set of randomly selected values. See, 45 is 2 times here. So if I had stepped it a little down, it could give me something to replace with. Otherwise, the 245 that are here, okay, I may do another sample. Just I say random, select, run between, because I want to replace that 45. Don't be praying for me that it will repeat again. It's in your life, so 60, I put enter, it gives me 9. It's 9 here already, 9 is not there, so I can copy my 9 and paste it there as paste special. Okay, so now the 9 is there as value, so I can sort this and say sort small to highest, so that when I drop this, I still have 9, a 15 to run with. So this is basically how to do your random selection. I'm sure it's something you can do. Please try it. If you have any issue, you can put your question on this video, on the comments, and I will attend to that. All right. So thank you very much for participating in this discussion. I wish you the very, very best of the remaining days. All right. Take care. Cheers. See you in the next video.